Nope, nope, stop. Woo! Looks like a rat is on the dinner menu tonight. Woo! Thanks for tuning in to another video of Trench Rat Customs. I'm Andrew Nadeau, and this is the Trench Mouse. It's unloaded, nothing in the magazine. So, to go with what I usually do, this is another high point. This one is a JHP 45, it's 45 ACP. So this one's a little different than most of the pistol to rifle conversions you'll see. This guy has the steel upper that I made, and if you take off the grip, it just locks into place around the grip and is held on by this screw right here and this screw. So if you pop this guy off, this whole thing just pulls right off. And then if you pop this guy out, you can just take the whole gun out. It has a 16-inch barrel. It's a 16-gauge shotgun barrel that I thermal fit over top of the factory barrel. I had to modify the slide for it to fit through. And it's welded on, so now it is a 16-inch barrel, which makes it legal to turn into a rifle. It's got an AK underfolder on it. This is a Thingmeister fabrication grip that they custom carved. They say Trench Mouse on it for me, and also one of their triggers. It's got an AK Bakelite front grip, and then I just kind of painted it to look like fake light. This is the factory front grip that came on my FA91. I just cut it down and then made it fit onto here. The way that I did this, I was kind of going for like that cheesy 80s movie vibe where they always had the scope pistols and stuff on them. I always wanted to do something like that, but then I also am a fan of like Star Wars blasters, so I figured this would be a good platform to build it on. You can't rack the slide. You can see there's no way to really get in there and rack the slide with the way that this thing is made. So that's why I made the pump action front, and you can see it works really well. You just pump it back to rack the slide and then pull the trigger, and there you go. It shoots really well. I had to take off the lock on here to adjust it to put a different size on, and I didn't put the lock back on so you can see the stock moves a little bit, but I just put a piece of leather on there. It handles very well. It shoots so much steadier than a normal pistol, and it's 45 ACP, so it does have some recoil. Doesn't really have anything now. It feels fine. I was shooting out to like 75 yards with it, and it's dead solid and it's extremely accurate. I wanted to use the carbine barrel for it, but the way the carbine barrel is, it doesn't really work well without having to like do some modifications to it, and it's extremely hard to find the carbine barrels used. You can get the regular barrels used for like dirt cheap, the pistol barrels, but the carbine ones are so much more expensive, so I don't want to mess with it. That's why I just use the shotgun one, and I have spare barrels, so if anything happens, I can change the slide out or whatever. But even if I was converting it back to like just a regular pistol, it takes like less than 5 minutes to take it out of this stock and then break it down and then put a factory barrel back in, and I have another factory slide. So, I mean, it's pretty easy to convert, but it is a folding stock, and the nice thing is it actually locks onto the front grip, and it holds everything nice and steady and solid. So it's nice, you can pack it up, but it's, as far as the carbine goes, it's, now it's just a regular carbine, and it weighs, with a loaded, just a loaded short mags that they come factory with, it weighs like just over 6 pounds. It's like 6 pounds 3 ounces with the scope and everything, so it's super light, which is awesome. Yeah, it works well. I have the spring system in here, so that way it keeps the pump from riding on the slide when you're shooting. But I mean, it works great if you have a jam or something, you can pop it out. I need to do some more work on just finishing and stuff like that. I just haven't had a chance. I just kind of wanted to get it together to see how everything would work. Works way better than I thought it would. It's definitely a love-hate thing. People comment like, what kind of stupid idiot would make something like that? Well, me. I like weird stuff. Contrary to what a lot of people think, you don't have to have like a purpose to stuff. It's like art. I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. And who cares if people like it? It's for fun, and that's what like the whole trench rat group thing's about. Just building really weird stuff for fun, and that's what we do. So if you're interested in stuff like this and other builds, our Facebook group Trench Rat Customs has all kinds of cool stuff in there that you can see other people's builds and stuff. We're working on getting more of a community together so we can start maybe doing some meets or matches, or I'm working on doing like a fundraiser to try to raise some money for a charity or some kind of cause. So yeah, that is the trench mouse. There's other videos I think on like Reddit and stuff, or other pictures. I mean, of when I originally made this as the trench mouse. It had I like painted the slide to look like just like old like rotten metal, and I kind of the original design when I had this pistol, I made it look like the trench rat, which is my other high point I'll do a video on, the one that kind of started my whole love for doing this kind of stuff. So I painted them to match. That's why I have the walnut grip on it and stuff. But then I ended up changing my mind, and I wanted to go with the fake light. If you want to do fake light on something, I've done it on a bunch of stuff, but Recoil Web has a really good article online. You can search it. That is like the go-to recipe that people use, and it works great. For the rest of it, I went with kind of a fake Parkerized finish. When I do that, I sprayed this whole thing with bed liner first, and then while it's wet, I went over it with primer. I forget what brand it is, but there's one where it's like the primer itself is like a greenish. I think it's like the high build primer or the sandable primer. But when you hit that when it's still wet, and then I went over it with a little bit of gray, and while it's wet, just wipe it with a rag, like when it's still a little tacky. The finish comes out to look like Parkerized, actually really close. And you can experiment. I've done it on a couple of different guns, and I have some stuff that has factory Parkerizing on it, and it's very close to the factory look. I still have some stuff to do to this. I want to put a sling on it and some other things, but as of now, I'm pretty happy with it. It shoots great so far. Haven't had any issues with it. I'm going to end up doing a range video with this and pretty much all the other guns. I don't know if I'm going to do an individual one for each one or just do one long video where I just shoot a bunch of stuff. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Trench Rat Customs. I got a rat that I need to cook up.